Hi guys, Tungsten here. So today basically I want to start to work on this upgrade kit over here. This is the brass version. So the parts are mainly 3D printed by AKmods. Yeah, and when you got hold of this part, you probably need to sand it a little bit, especially for this guy over here. I did do a very light sanding so that it is smooth and nice, because eventually it's going to go into this plunger tube itself. So I think it will be good to sort of sand it to make it slightly smoother. So this is what you see over the kit. So same thing, you have a spring, but I realized that it's actually missing the so-called piece whereby you can put at the back of near the stock to sort of position the spring, unlike the other kit that I have. So this piece over here is not the case. This is more for the front, if I'm not wrong, later on when you sort of install it. Anyway, okay, so again, this is not the so-called aluminum type. So this kit is a lot cheaper than the other one itself. Yeah, so how does it work? So by the way, if you like the content, do consider subscribe, and of course if you can, please hit on the like button. This will help the channel a lot. So basically what you have over here is these two pieces. One will go into the other like this. Okay, so you can push it all the way in over here. Alright, then you can align it nicely. Now you will see a few holes. There's one over here, right? One at the bottom and then one at the side. Now you're supposed to have the super glue, and then you're supposed to put a few drops of super glue in each of this hole, sort of to position the brass nicely in. And they suggest that you use a sort of a small toothpick to sort of pry this open a little bit, or in some way, open it slightly, and then you can dab a few super glue in and leave it to dry, and then basically that will prepare this piece over here. So basically, again, these holes are meant for you to dip in the super glue itself, and then make sure you don't get any of the glue into the barrel itself. Yeah, so that will be for this piece. So I'm going to do all this fixing up of this super glue thing off the air, because I don't need to apply it carefully, I guess. Yes, that's for this piece over here. And then the other piece over here is this guy over here. So this guy over here eventually is going to go into this thing, if I'm not wrong. So this is what you get from your CEDA. Okay, you can remove this, and then of course you're left with this duct gate, and you probably need to remove it. So to remove it again is basically this portion over here. You have to pry it, and then of course you sort of push it out this side. There you go, you'll be out in a way. So that is pretty easy for you to recognize. There's this rectangle block at the bottom, which is what's happening over here. So eventually this piece is going to go in, and then it's going to lock inside. Alright, so you're going to reuse this piece from the original CEDA. So this kit itself is a lot cheaper than the other one, the previous one that we use, as mentioned, because I guess mainly are 3D printed, and yeah. So for this guy over here, okay, what they recommend is, of course, it is to slide in this piece. Okay, let me see which way. These are pretty sharp at the edges, so definitely you have to be careful. Okay, yep. All right, so this you go in now. So if you were to observe, it's at an angle. Of course, this will be the top to line up here, Now I read some of the instructions, so it's supposed to go all the way until here. Alright, so you can see the edges, right? So the end of this sort of piece, this is to align with this portion over here, and then you'll be good to go. So something like this. Okay, you're supposed to align it there. So again, there'll be holes over here, here, and here for you to sort of apply the super glue in. Okay, when you want to apply it, you can just dip a few drops inside. Okay, and then that will help you secure this piece over here. Yeah, so again, I'm gonna prepare this two pieces sort of offline, but I'm gonna show you how eventually looks like. So again, this will go in, right? So it should go in all the way. Press this piece, and then it actually will snap on. Okay, like this. Alright. Okay, and this piece itself, okay, when it's together, this will be going above. Okay, then of course you will fit in something like this. Right, so if everything goes well, of course, again the gate will be here, this slit will be here. Okay, so you might want to sort of try out. Okay, sort of, is it going to sort of close it nicely? Okay, you might need to move this slightly out a little bit, align it, sort of thing, before you do the glue application. Test it for a while. Okay, make sure you got the correct position before you do the super glue thing. Right? Okay, so eventually this guy is gonna go in, and then so as long as you have a good seal, okay, then I think you are good to go. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna push this. Yeah, so it's around here. Okay, maybe just a little bit out, a little bit. Okay, you also do not want a case whereby that your dart cannot enter cannot be chambered. Yeah. So so that'll be for now. So I'm gonna apply the glue, and we'll come back. Alright, so I've prepared the two brass portion, so I'm waiting for it to dry. So let's work on the back as well. Again, we open it up. First, of course, we're to replace this guy over here. Okay, so again we put it in. Again, this is a bit loose, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the original catch spring and then just swap it over. I think that's what I did for the other kit as well. So it seems to work fine, so I believe it will work fine as well over here. Okay, so this is a bit tight. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna use back the original, and it is sort of able to address the loose portion of it. Okay, so I'll just put back the trigger. Okay, yep, should be fine. And then like I mentioned earlier, the other kit have a 3D printed part that actually center the spring, but for this kit over here, it doesn't come with that piece, which I do not know why. I thought that is a good addition to the so-called the overall kit of it, but anyway, it doesn't have that, so I'm not gonna so we're not gonna do that. So other than that, I'm gonna close it up, and then what I'm gonna do is, of course, I'm gonna take this piece over here, this as well. Okay, put it in, and then there is a piece that comes with the yeah, comes with. So again, it is one end is textured, so the other end is smooth. Put a smooth end in first and then use your screwdriver to push it in. So I'm gonna do all this offline and I'll close it up and then we can look at the front. Okay, so I've fixed up the parts. So now for the plunger tube itself, so we are using the original plunger tube. So remember there's an arrow up here, so I've already marked it so that it's easier for me to see. Right, so this rod was provided in the kit, so I just grease it up and just put it in. The seal is not fantastic, I guess. It seems to be a lot of pretty loose actually, in a way. Okay, yeah, okay, you can see it. Okay, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, then of course the spring is here, so let's just put it in. So again, we just slot it in like this, then the arrow facing up, put it in. Okay, make sure it's okay, put it in, and then that's it. So I guess this is really one nice feature about the CEDA is you can really swap things out quite easily. So now with all this in place, actually you can swap back to the original spring, which is the weaker one if you want to. Yeah, so pretty nice. So once we have that, we can try this, put it in. Oh yeah, I need to grease out this portion and then just basically slot it in, and then we'll be working on the front portion. Yeah. Okay, now for the front portion, again I've opened it up, so now we can fit in this things into the front. So let me just get rid of this. So this is over here. So again, I've sort of secured the brass by putting super glue from this hole over here as well as this two hole here. I also drop a few drops around the front portion so that now it is sort of cured and pretty much secure. Again, you're supposed to align it just slightly, along this line, or slightly over it, just by a little bit. That's what the instructions said. Okay, so now again we take the original front portion whereby we have removed all the duct gate and whatnot. So now we can place it in, push this portion so that you can easily slot it in, and then it will click into place, which is nice. Yep, so now we have the entire front portion, right? So now the kit comes with this 3D printed part, so you can slot this in here. Okay, it's meant to go into this portion over here, as you can see. So something like this. Now I think there are two holes as well. You can sort of dab super glue, but I'm not gonna do so. Okay, then you can slowly adjust and then you can put it in like this. Okay, now I've come to realize that this is shorter than it won't be coming, sort of, it won't protrude out of the opening. I don't think that will cause any problem, because if you put it in over here, you realize that this opening is pretty wide. So I doubt that the ducts will be jamming or anything like that. Okay, because if it's coming off, okay, it probably won't flex that much, right, the duct. Okay, so it probably can exit quite nicely. Alright, okay, once you put this in, okay, you put back the two original screw over here, this two position, and we can close it up, which I'll do offline. Yeah. Okay, now we have all the parts ready, so we're gonna fix it together. So again, I realized that this, again, the sides are protruding like the other kit, so if you put it in, you might face a little bit of problem that you will jam on this too. So you have to pry it open a little bit to slot it in, And then the other thing is, this thing over here is supposed to go, I'm not sure you can see this piece over here. Maybe now I can remove it. Yeah, I can. Okay, so I guess that's the good thing about CEDA again. So now if you take a look, this piece is supposed to go over this piece, right? So you can go and then slot in, right? So you want to make sure you do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the other way of assembly. Instead of putting this over here, I'm going to sort of screw this bolt slate in first at the top portion, and then see whether I can do it that way. Yeah. Okay, so now I have to fit this in. Can I do it? Not too sure. Okay, because of the front black piece, so I guess it'll take some time. I'll do it offline. Alright, so I managed to put in back the barrel. It's not that difficult after all. So now let's proceed. So I'm gonna place this guy. Like I say, if you place it in, you'll be hitting this tool, and then you have to pry open, and it's gonna messy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go over it. This thing should be over this piece, so now it should be underneath, and just slot in, and then just all the way in. So it should be able to push all the way in and sort of locked in. So with that, I'm gonna use the priming bar, and I'm gonna slot in. Then I'm gonna align and then screw them in. Okay, then I'll attempt. Okay, so align the hole and screw the two posts in. Then I'll attempt to close it up. Yeah. Okay, so now we have done that part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this out. So now this will slide out right nicely. Then you can actually sort of align it with this portion over here, slide it in, push it sort of upwards, align. I'm at a strange angle, so that is pretty difficult. Now the so-called the bolt. Okay, now you have to put it in, make sure it's in. Okay. Yep. So you want to make sure it's so-called movable, and then can fix. Yeah. Okay. Again, the black piece should be above. Okay, let's see over here. Then you can prime. You'll be like this, so you'll be over. This will be under. So you can slide nicely like this. Yep. So I'll just go and fire a few rounds and see whether it's working nicely. Yep. Well, I finished firing the so-called the blaster. Some good news and some bad news, I guess. So first for the bad news, as you can see over here, okay, a lot of the dart head just sort of torn off even after firing the first shot. Yeah, almost 50% of the dart head sort of got ripped off. Yeah. Anyway, the good news is, of course, it fired around 200 fps according to my chronograph. Again, I'm not too sure how accurate is that, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty powerful. And as I know, I fire it certainly go a distance. Anyway, another bad news I'll say is for this guy over here, if you were to use the Talon mag, okay, because the Talon top portion is I think it's a lot narrower, okay, than the katana mag itself. Okay, so the so-called clearance is a lot narrower. So if you try to jam it in, okay, let me see whether I can get a good angle. Okay, if it aligns nicely, of course, no problem. If you were to have a slight misalignment, it might hit the brass piece. It could, even if I try to align it nicely, even when during the installation, I don't think it will help that much, because just by a slight misalignment you're gonna hit the brass piece. Okay, yeah. So I guess you either modify the brass to send it slightly narrower, which I'm not too sure I want to do that or not, or of course you have to sort of again send a little bit of the Talon, which again I don't think I want to do that. So again, in the heat of a so-called game, if you were to, like, you know, jam it in, because that's how you, what we tell, can you see, if you jam it in forcefully, if you hit the brass thing over here, I don't think it'll go well. Anyway, well, good news is you still have the katana. Alright, so if you were to put this in, because the katana is slightly wider, okay, you were to put it in, it doesn't really hit the brass. Okay, so yeah, so I guess you have less opportunity to damage the top portion, and the good thing is it actually fit well with even the katana itself. So you don't, for this setup, you don't need to just sort of restrict to the so-called the Talon. Yep. Yeah, so I guess that probably can be viewed as an advantage if you are using katana, I guess. I'm not too sure, but anyway, of course myself, actually I prefer the katana, just for a simple reason. I prefer a release, okay, rather than, you know, to forcefully pull it out, yank it out, and then put it in. Yeah, but anyway, it has its application. Okay, so again, maybe I'm a little bit long-winded, but yeah, I just want to give it another try, so that I'm not being biased or anything. Okay, yeah, you can see. Okay, it's really right. You have to be pretty much dead center in order to, in the heat of the fight, jam it in, and then there goes your kit. Okay, anyway, okay, again, I'm able to hit around 200 fps constantly, but drawback is decapitation. Yeah, the price point, it is a lot cheaper than the previous kit, and then so you have to do your own calculations to see whether it's worth it or not, with all the drawback and advantage. I have fun working on Springer. Now I'm back to flywheel. Actually, I'm starting to like Springer quite a fair bit. I guess the kit itself is really something that's easy for people like me who seldom walk flywheel to be able to get a good start. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm starting to like Springer quite a bit. The prime is actually quite okay. Okay, not a very heavy prime. Okay, so yeah, so thanks for watching. If you like the content, please hit the like button. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing. That will help my channel. So I'm Tungsten. Thanks for watching. Bye.